These are the 11 reasons you hate being in social situations. Are you generally happiest when you're alone yourself and avoiding human interaction? In such case, you're not alone. However, have you ever considered the source of these emotions? Reasons for avoiding people and gatherings of any kind can be more varied than you might think. Okay, so let's start with the most basic stuff. Number 1, introversion. How many times have you been advised that you need to stop being so shy and start making friends? If so, you probably prefer quiet times alone. Introversion is not a problem or illness, but rather a feature that characterizes those who are naturally less extroverted than the average individual. Even though introverts' quiet demeanor and tendency to keep to themselves have earned them a reputation for shyness, this is not always the case. You can be an introvert regardless of how much time you spend alone or with other people. While extroverts require social interaction to maintain their energy levels, introverts experience the opposite effect. While they relish in deep chats with loved ones, they struggle to maintain connections in huge gatherings. That's why it's crucial for introverts to get some alone time every once in a while. It gives them the breathing room they need to refuel. Number 2, the sensitivity of sensory processing. Extreme reactivity to environmental stimuli can make social interactions challenging for those with sensory processing sensitivities. There may be a connection to autism or attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. If you have problems focusing on talks when there is so much going on around you, being in social situations may not be easy if you are a highly sensitive person. You have trouble focusing on a task because of distractions like bright lights, blaring music, a plethora of colors, or the sound of someone chewing. It's possible that you'll require more time than usual to think through situations, and that you'll find yourself frustrated by details that most people would likely overlook. Sensitivity in the realm of sensory processing is not something that can be toggled off. Number 3, possessing intelligence above average. The odds of you being a people person are low if you have a high IQ. You combine analytical rigor with practical initiative. You're thinking, evaluating, and getting things done while everyone else is preoccupied with their phones or the latest episode of that new Smash series. You dislike making idle chatter since it always seems like, well, idle chatter. You wish to engage one another in deep conversation about important matters, find creative solutions to difficult challenges, and develop a shared understanding of one another. You yearn to have deep discussions with people who understand and appreciate your hunger for knowledge. Put another way, you don't like being among other people since you find the vast majority of them to be dull. All of their conversations and activities are extremely boring. Number 4, psychiatric difficulties. As a result of their mental health disorders, some people find it impossible to fathom ever being in social situations. Symptoms of depression include a lack of energy, sadness, and irritability. It can also make it tough to wake up and go about your day. Interacting with others is extremely difficult for those with social anxiety disorder. In social situations, you could experience feelings of awkwardness, fear, and self-consciousness. Similarly, if you suffer from avoidant personality disorder, you may find it challenging to build close relationships with other people. All of these factors make people uncomfortable in social settings and more likely to shun them. Number 5, Syndrome d'Asperger. To put it simply, Asperger's syndrome is a mental illness that manifests throughout a person's formative years. One of the hallmarks of this form of autism is difficulty forming and maintaining interpersonal relationships. Most people with Asperger's syndrome prefer to avoid social situations because it's challenging to connect with individuals and gauge their emotions. It's embarrassing if you have trouble reading body language or making eye contact. People's actions, such as chatting too loudly, may frustrate or even embarrass you. Because of this, people have a hard time connecting with you and you have a hard time keeping friends. Number 6, confidence issues. Feeling inadequate is a major contributor to people's dislike of social situations. They doubt their own abilities and self-esteem. They fear that others will evaluate them harshly and that others will notice their flaws. However, if you lack self-assurance, it will be difficult to project that confidence to others. Another significant reason of your distress is the behavior of those around you. Mistreatment from another person might lower your self-esteem. Having this hold you back can hinder your professional advancement and make it difficult to pursue your lifelong ambitions. If this describes you, it may be time to seek professional help through counseling or therapy. If you boost your confidence, you'll be more approachable and ready to start forming new bonds with people. Number 7, a failure to develop social skills. This could be yet another reason why you avoid human company. You won't be able to create or keep friends if you have no social skills. You may also be unable to speak well and have difficulty developing meaningful relationships. It's awkward and forced when you try to strike up a conversation, or worse, you come out as nasty and inconsiderate. Several explanations are possible. You may have never learned how to strike up conversations or show your feelings since you were raised in a home where the parents often argued or, alternatively, rarely spoke to one another. The good news is that, like any other skill, social skills can be developed with enough time, effort, and practice. Number 8, reluctance to interact with others as a result of stress. Mental or emotional tension or strain brought on by exasperating or demanding conditions is what we mean when we talk about stress. The symptoms may be immediate or chronic, and the cause may be physical or mental. It's natural to want to withdraw from other people, even those you love, when you feel like your life is too busy and crazy. While it's understandable to want some time to yourself after a long day, this shouldn't become a regular occurrence. Actually, withdrawing from society has long-term consequences. You will feel lonely and isolated if you don't work on improving your social skills and communicating with others. While withdrawing from social situations may seem like a quick solution, you should actively fight to overcome this tendency. Number 9, extremely upsetting events. It's likely that anyone who's been through a stressful encounter may suffer from PTSD. It's hard to be around other people, and you may start to feel isolated as a result. You'd rather not go through the same thing again because of how unpleasant it was the first time. Perhaps you never received any attention when you were young, or perhaps you were the target of cruel jokes because of your size, a physical impairment, or any other trait. Maybe you've been hurt or abandoned by someone who vowed they wouldn't break their word. Whatever the circumstance may be, remember that you can find a route forward. The therapeutic relationship between patient and therapist provides an ideal environment for processing difficult emotions and finding resolution. Number 10, having a fear of close relationships. A fear of intimacy is understandable given the requirement of openness that it entails. Sharing one's innermost thoughts and feelings with others isn't always easy. Perhaps you're too scared to let someone in because you're terrified they'll reject you if they see the real you. It could be that you have a fundamental belief that you are unworthy of a person's undivided attention and care. It's natural to want to keep yourself safe from harm, and it's understandable to feel fear when confronted with something new. The inability to make friends or go on dates might become a problem if your fear of intimacy is so great that you avoid all social situations. Just because you're in a social setting does not imply you have to spill the beans about your life. You can have a good time with them even if you don't tell them anything too private. Number 11, inconsistencies in trust. Being around others is challenging when mistrust prevents you from trusting them. It's possible you're worried they'll do you harm, use your weakness, or take advantage of you in some other way. One's inability to trust others is usually the result of having had their trust broken in the past. Perhaps they didn't be truthful with you or show any consideration for your feelings. Whatever transpired had an impact on shaping your present self. That said, you shouldn't completely abandon trusting other people just yet. Don't let the fact that someone took advantage of your good nature in the past discourage you from being kind in the future. You shouldn't assume that other people will be hurt in the same way just because you were hurt. Give this video a like if you found it entertaining, and please consider sharing it with others so we can continue to produce similar content. If you liked this video and want to see more like it, subscribe and turn on notifications. Please view our other videos while you're here. The video is now over.